Imagine being in a place where the ground beneath you just decides to shake violently for 2.5 minutes. That's what happened in Colombia recently. And it's a reminder that even in the 21st century, nature still has the power to make us feel utterly powerless. Let me tell you, this earthquake wasn't just a number on a seismograph. It was a raw, visceral experience for thousands of people, and the stories coming out of San José del Palmar are haunting. One survivor compared it to a scene from The Exorcist. Can you imagine that? The bed moving like it had a life of its own. But here's what really stands out to me. This isn't just about the shaking. It's about the systems that failed, the communities that were already struggling, and the way disasters always expose the cracks in society. Let's dig into what's going on here. Colombia's earthquake wasn't just strong, it was a wake-up call. Magnitude 7.4 is no joke, and the fact that it's the strongest in the country's last decade is terrifying. But here's the thing. The epicenter wasn't in a bustling city. It was in San José del Palmar, a place that's underdeveloped, with roads that barely exist and infrastructure that's, let's say, not built for seismic events. I mean, think about this. The pediatric and neonatal sections of a hospital in Cali collapsed. That's not just a tragedy. It's an indictment of how we prioritize development in certain areas over others. When you're in a region where 2/3 of the population lives in poverty and access is only possible by boat or plane, what do you expect when the earth starts moving? It's not just about the earthquake. It's about the decades of neglect that made this disaster so devastating. And let's talk about the survivors. Gabriel Monaco, who lived on the 25th floor of a building in Medellin, described the terror of the shaking. But here's what I find fascinating. His building had anti-earthquake systems. Meanwhile, older structures, those without modern reinforcements, just crumbled. This isn't just about engineering. It's about inequality. How many people in Colombia are living in buildings that weren't built to withstand this kind of force? How many families are now sleeping outside because their homes are gone? This isn't just a natural disaster. It's a human one, shaped by choices we've made as a society. And yet, when I hear about the Wanan Indigenous Reserve, where help hasn't even reached yet, it makes me wonder, how many more disasters will we ignore until it's too late? Now, here's something that really makes me think. The EU stepping in with satellite tech and funding. That's impressive, but it also raises a deeper question. Why do we wait for international aid when local governments are supposed to handle these crises? The Colombian government declared a national disaster, but the reality is they're stretched thin. And let's not forget the U.S. sending $15.5 million in aid. It's a gesture, sure, but it also highlights how globalized our response to disasters has become. We're all connected now, but does that mean we're actually prepared? Or are we just reacting to the chaos after the fact? And then there's the tectonic angle. Gustavo Ortiz, the geologist, pointed out that this earthquake was in a subduction zone, unlike the one in Venezuela. That's a technical detail, but it matters. The depth, the plates involved, it all changes how we prepare. But here's the kicker. The 1979 earthquake in Colombia was a 7.2, and it killed hundreds. We've had warnings, but have we listened? Or have we just brushed it off as a once-in-a-lifetime event? Because if history is any indicator, this isn't the last time Colombia will face something like this. And that's the real horror story. Not the shaking, but the fact that we're not learning from the past. So what does this all mean? It means that when the ground moves, it's not just the earth that's shaken. It's our priorities, our preparedness, and our humanity. The survivors in Cali, the indigenous communities in Chaco, the families in Pereira, they're not just statistics. They're people who deserve better. And as we watch this unfold, I can't help but think, what if we treated disaster preparedness like we treat climate change? What if we invested in resilient infrastructure, in early warning systems, in communities that are most at risk? Because right now, it feels like we're always playing catch-up. And honestly, that's not sustainable. The next time the ground shakes, we need to be ready, not just for the quake, but for the aftermath.